Hello everyone, I am truly grateful for the opportunity for me to speak with all of you. So before we begin, how are you all? Yes, that is the energy that I want for this morning. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to introduce my team member. For first, my name is Farah Nabila binti Azmi and I will be your first presenter for today. And then, my next team member is Shalini. Shalini, she is an organized and articulate lady that ensure everything goes smoothly. And then the next team member is Ahmad Haikal. He is a proactive member that always gives support when needed. And then our last presenter, which is Nur Amalin, she is thoughtful and supportive member that always give a great eye for the details. Now you all guys have known my team members, we will proceed with our topic, which is a risk behavior for adolescents. So, what is risk behavior? Risk behavior is anything that put ourselves or the others at the risk of physical, mental, emotional harm or abuse. So, in Malaysia, 15.6% of the total population is comprised of adolescents. So you may think that why we should pay attention to adolescent, because adolescent is the one that will lead the world in the future. So if anything happen to the most of adolescent, what will happen to the world? So I will give you time to know. The first risk behavior is substance abuse. So substance abuse is harmful or risky use of alcohol, drugs and tobacco that can damage a person's health, behavior or future. So, according to National Health Morbidity Surveys 2022, 72.2% of adolescents has the first use of drug before the age of 14 years old. Can you imagine before the age of 14 years old? And then 14.9% of adolescents have been using vapes, while 5.4% of adolescents have been using cigarettes. So in this, we can see that in this era, adolescents have been using more vape than cigarette. Example of alcohol is like beer, wine, liquor, and the example of drug is like marijuana, ecstasy, shabu. And the example of tobacco is like cigarette and vapes, like I have mentioned before. The second risk behavior is sexual risk behavior. So, according to National Health and Morbidity Surveys 2022, 52.8% of adolescents have had the first sex act before the age of 14 years old. So, it is quite worrying to see this percentage, because it is quite large. So example of sexual risk behavior is unprotected sex, multiple sexual partners, and sexting. So example of sexting is sharing nude or receive nude picture, or sending sexually suggestive message like using WhatsApp or the other apps. I think we should pay more attention to sexting, because even though you are not doing any sexual activity, but sexting can lead the way to the sexual activity, and as adolescents should not be doing this. So if you have been receiving nude picture from your partner of your boyfriend, you should report this to adult like your parents, so that they can make police report. So this case that I have been showing is a guy that named Vishnu, 20 years old, have been treated a 17 years old teenagers of her private photos, and the teenager become stressed that the guy have been treating her of her private photo. So she jumped to her death at the apartment building. So from this case, we can see that do not trust any guy. First, do not trust any guys, and second, do not show any of your private photos because they can use it to threaten you. And if this happen to you, please make a report. Please inform to the adults so they can make a report to the police. Please do not take your life, because if you take your life, can you imagine the feelings of your parents? They have been taking care of you since you. So the third risk behavior that occur among adolescents is dangerous driving. According to National Health and Morbidity Survey 2022, 20.6% of injury occur among adolescents involve motor vehicle or hit by a motor vehicle. Just to remind you that you can take motorcycle license at the age of 16 years old and car license at the age of 17 years old. If accident happen, it can cause injury to you and to the other person, or if severe cases, it can cause death. So if you have been using your motorcycle or drive your car, you can be charged on the Act of Road Transport Act 1987 Section 26, which is the penalty of 300 ringgit to 2,000 or imprisonment up to 3 months or both. Then if your parent know that you are driving but do not take action, they can be charged in the Child Act Section 31, which is fine up to 50,000 ringgit or imprisonment up to 20 years or both. So there are two cases that I can show you. The first one is occurred at Penang. A 13 years old teenager have been died at the accident scene because they have been collision with the other 14 years old teenager, while the 13 years old teenager have been died at the accident scene. The 14 years old teenager had severe injury. This is a sad tragedy because the 14 years old teenager can become trauma because of the accident. Another case is at Sepang. A 12-year-old teenager have been driving with his two other siblings, which is 6 and 4 years old, in the car. And a person said that if there are accidents that occur, the parents will lose all three of their child. So this is quite a serious case because, as I said earlier, if accident occur, the parent will lose all of their child. So that's the three risk behavior that I can share with all of you guys. Now I will pass to my next presenter, which is Shalini, about the factor.
Hi all, today I will be talking about factors that influence adolescents to take risks. Let's start by talking about yourself, your own body and mind, and how it affects your choices. Firstly, your brain is still developing. The prefrontal cortex, the part that controls decision making, is not fully grown. This means you may act first, then think later. This is called high sensation seeking and low impulse control. So, when something looks fun or exciting, you may find it hard to say no. Next, emotional dysregulation is another factor. Your emotions like happiness, sadness, or anger can fluctuate quickly. This makes it harder for you to stay calmer or control your action when you are stressed or frustrated. Then, your self esteem or how much you love yourself play a very big role. If you have a low self esteem, you might do risky things just to be noticed or to feel that you belong somewhere. Some young people have a weak future orientation or poor future outlook. This means you find it hard to picture a successful future for yourself, or you don't care much about the future consequences. So you might think, who cares about later? And make choices that feel good now without thinking about the future. Now, let's talk about family influences. Your family plays a huge role in shaping your choices. Firstly, poor parenting style. Poor parenting style can affect you. For example, if your parents are not there for you or ignores you, you might look for attention and guidance somewhere else. Most oftenly, it's from a friend who are immature and suggest you to do more riskier things. Next, family conflict. When there's a lot of arguments or fights at home, it can cause stress. This stress may affect how you deal with problems and make you more likely to take risks. Then, if your family is going through a financial struggle or is poor, you may face additional pressures. For example, you might be tempted to do something risky to help to ease financial stress, or you may hang out with a group that accept you regardless of their behavior. Lastly, parental supervision and expectation are very important too. If your parents do not check on you, do not set clear rules, or do not expect much from you, it may be easier for you to break the rules and take risks. Now, let's talk about adolescents' favorite spot, peer and social dynamics. Your friends and surrounding influences you a lot, sometimes more than you realize. Firstly, peer pressure is a powerful force. Your friends may say something like this: "Don't be a coward, let's do something fun." This makes it hard for you to say no and stay true to yourself. Next, peer contagion means you can catch behaviors from your friends. For example, if everyone in your group smokes, drinks, or skips schools, you might start to do it just to fit in. This may lead it to many consequences. Then, your desire for social acceptance plays a big role too. We all want to be liked and accepted by our friends and peers. So sometimes we do things we normally wouldn't do just to be part of them. Lastly, the media like TikTok, Instagram, and movies can affect you too. If you constantly seeing people your age taking risks and having fun, you may start to think it's normal or cool. Last but not least, school environment. Your school surrounding and experience can affect your choices in a negative way too. If your school has bullying or violence, you may feel unsafe or powerless. This can make you more likely to take risks or break the rules just to protect yourself and show you are tough. Next, if your teachers do not care or pay much attention to you, or the rules at school are weaker or unfair, you may start to think it's okay to misbehave. This can lead to frequent frequent fights or ignoring school responsibility. Poor school environments make it harder for you to focus on your future and make a positive choices. So you can see here now your own body and mind, your family, your friends and surrounding, and your school environment all influences your choices. But the most important thing to remember is you have the power to choose your future. That's all from me. Thank you.
Let's begin by looking at the physical health consequences that can affect teenagers as a result of risky behavior. First, there is substance abuse that includes things like vaping, smoking, and taking drugs. You might think it's harmless at first, or something just to try out with friends, but over time it can damage your lungs, make you addicted to nicotine, and even increase your chance of getting heart disease or cancer later in life. Next is something a lot of teens don't talk about openly, which is unsafe sex. Without proper protection, it can lead to unplanned pregnancies or STIs or sexually transmitted infections. This can seriously affect your health, and dealing with them at a young age can be very overwhelming. Lastly, let's not forget about reckless driving. Some teens ride motorcycle without helmets or speed just for fun, but it is a super dangerous where one small mistake can cause a bad accident, and in some cases it could even be life-threatening. So overall, your body is something you only get once. This choice might seem small or cool now, but they can have a big impact on your health down the road. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Now, let's talk about how risky behavior can affect your mental health. One major issue is anxiety and depression. Teens who face bullying or who are involved in substance abuse are at a higher risk of feeling depressed or anxious. Some may even think about self harm or suicide. In Malaysia, it's been found that 1 in 5 teens experience serious mental distress. That's like 1% in every group of 5 friends. It's important to remember that these feelings don't make you weak, but things like being bullied or turning to drugs can make those feelings much worse. If you or someone you know is struggling, it's okay to talk to someone you trust. Another mental health concern is addiction and dependency. Starting to use drugs or alcohol at a young age, even just trying it once, can lead to long term addiction. This makes it hard to stop later and can affect your school, friendships, and also family life. So, the key takeaway here is taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your body. And if you are ever struggling, you are not alone because help is always available. Besides health problems, risky behavior can also affect your school life and future. First, there is the risk of becoming a school dropout. Students who are always getting into trouble or skipping class often end up doing badly in school. Some might even stop attending altogether. And without a proper education, it's much harder to get a good job or follow your dreams later on. Then, there are legal problems. Using drugs or smoking when you are underage isn't just unhealthy, but it's also against the law. You could get fined or even taken to the court. Some teens also get involved in things like cyberbullying or illegal racing, thinking it's fun or just a joke. But these actions can lead to a police record, which can follow you for years and affect your ability to apply for job or further studies. So, making good choice now can really protect your future. Always ask yourself, is this really worth the risk? Chances are it's not.
Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Today I will be sharing a very important topic for all of us, especially for adolescents. We have all faced moments where friends ask us to do something we know isn't right, like trying a vape, skipping school, or sharing something risky online. So I will focus on two things today. First, how adolescents can say no to risky behavior, and second, how parents, teachers and friends can support them. How to say no? Let's begin with a question. Imagine you are with friends and someone offers you a vape or dares you to skip class. What would you do? So saying no is not always easy because of peer pressure. Adolescents often say yes because they want to fit in, or they are afraid of losing friends. But there are simple ways to say no, and with a bit of practice, anyone can do it. First, just say it. No thanks, I'm not into that. It may feel awkward at first, but it's powerful. Second, give a reason. I don't want to get in trouble, or my parents would kill me. You don't need a long explanation, just something clear. Third, change the topic or suggest something else. Like, let's go grab food instead. Or, hey, have you seen that new video? Fourth, use humor or confidence. Nope, I like my lungs just the way they are. Fifth, avoid the situation. If you know a party or gathering will be risky, it's okay not to go. The more you practice saying no, the easier it gets. You can even practice with a friend or say it in front of the mirror. The key is to be prepared. Now let's talk about the people around us. Saying no becomes easier when adolescents feel supported. Parents play a big role. When parents talk openly with their children, set clear rules, and become good role models, adolescents feel safer and more confident. For example, if an adolescent sees their parents avoid smoking and talk about healthy choices, they are more likely to do same. Teachers also matter. Teachers can educate students about the risk of drugs, vaping, or online dangers. They can also notice if someone's behavior is changing, maybe they are stressed or hiding something, and give support early. Friends are very important too. Good friends will never pressure you to do something harmful. In fact, they will stop you and say, hey, don't do that, it's not worth it. We also have the community like sports clubs, religious groups, and youth programs. This gives adolescents a safe place to grow, learn, and stay active in a healthy way. So it is not just the adolescent's job to say no. Everyone, like parents, teachers, friends, and the community has a role to support them. Before I end, I want to remind everyone, saying no is not weakness, it's strength. You have the right to protect your body, your future, and your dreams. If you ever feel confused or under pressure, talk to someone you trust. You are not alone. Let's work together, students, families, and teachers, to create a safe and healthy future. Thank you.